Oh, what the fuck was that? 2-1 against Osasuna. Oh, geez. Honestly, this season is so draining to watch. It's got to be one of the least fun that I've had watching a Real Madrid team this season. The way we play, the tactics, the players, they're just bitching and moaning all the time. Oh, this is going to be a fun review, isn't it? I like to think I'm not one of these YouTubers that does overreact and, reactionary, I think is the word. I don't really often come on here and say, you sack the manager and get rid of the players. There's always solutions. And even when you lose, you can learn things from the loss. And sometimes there's reasons to explain the loss, which maybe I'll try and get into a little bit here today. But we are seeing patterns happening again and again, and I just don't think we're doing anything in training to adjust these. And maybe that's why Alonso had to go, because Alonso is a far too good manager to be wasting his time trying to teach players a system that are not interested in learning. And I like Arbeloa. I think he's a nice guy, but I don't think we're going anywhere under him. I said this when he was appointed, and I made this video about really missing Xabi Alonso, and he doesn't seem to offer anything substitution wise, tactically. Since he's come in, he has improved one thing. Our ball recoveries have improved slightly under him compared to Xavi Alonso, and we certainly had that new manager boost for a few games where the players seem to be rejuvenated. But that's just a change of manager. Every club has that. That's got nothing to do with Arbeloa necessarily affecting change. I think the players just looked a bit more fresh, and he put Valverde in his natural position, so Valverde was happy. He put his arm around Vinicius. Vinicius was happy. But these are just very short-term gains. There's no long-term pattern of play here at all. I am sick and tired of seeing a midfield with Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Valverde. There's no creativity in there. It's just. Camavinga was asked earlier in the week in Portugal during the Champions League media if the club need a new centrocampista, a new central midfielder, a controlling type of midfielder. And a journalist asked him this, and a little bit tongue-in-cheek, and also I think a little bit arrogantly, Camavinga said, well, what do you think? And the guy said, yeah, I think the club does. And Camavinga said, no, I disagree. I'll speak to the president if you want, but no, I can do that role, and he cannot do that role. This club severely lacks a controlling type of midfielder who can dictate play. And I don't even know if the players realise this. That is a big problem. I think some of these players really think they are better than they are. And, they've got a very big ego on them. And, yeah, so many problems with this team. But let's get into the game then from the starting lineup, which turns out in hindsight to be a pretty poor lineup. So if we have a look at the starting lineup, it's practically a 4-4-2, and there were so many problems with this lineup. I know hindsight is an easy thing, so I'm not going to lie, I wasn't against the Alaba start, even though now in hindsight it looked to be a pretty poor decision because Alaba was terrible, I think, in this game, like many players were. But if you look at it, Rudiger really can't be playing 2 games a week at the moment. Huijsen's not available. In hindsight, okay, probably starting Tchouaméni as centre back. Maybe starting another midfielder would have been a better option. But I wasn't too against the Alaba signing, but the Alaba starting. The problem is Carvajal also started. So you've got 2 guys in the back 4 here who have barely played all season. They're not fully fit. They haven't got much pace. They're also pretty small. And you partner that also with Asensio, who's not the tallest guy in the world. It was just setting us up for disaster. And against a lump like Budimir, Arbeloa must have known the difficulties that were going to be facing us in this game. I don't think disaster is an exaggeration here, by the way. This was a chance. Barcelona just lost against Girona. This was a chance to extend the lead, to really put pressure and go for this title. Now, the first half started off just like so many of the other first half seemed to do. We cannot keep the ball for the first 30 minutes of the game. When the teams that we're playing against have energy and they press, we are in deep shit. We just cannot keep the ball. If I remember from the first 30 minutes, Courtois pulled off an unbelievable save. I think they hit the post. The only chance I can really remember from that first half was an Mbappe shot from really far out, and Alaba had a really good opportunity after a great little pass from Dani Carvajal. But Osasuna were the better team, and they deserved to go 1-0 up. And we've seen this time and time again in the first half. We just don't do anything. We can't keep the ball. We look lost. We look bereft of ideas. And it's only until the other team starts to slow down a little bit that we actually then get to, build some momentum. But by then, we're often a goal behind. It's just we've got to change how we start football games. I could go through all these players, and very few of them came out that first half with any real decent scores, I would say. I thought Alvaro Carreras and maybe Valverde were perhaps some of the best players in that first half. I didn't think Alvaro Carreras put a foot wrong, to be honest. I thought he shut down Garcia pretty well on his side and was constantly making overlapping runs. Vinicius looked lively, put in some good balls. I thought he made the wrong decision too often. Got dispossessed too many times, but he did put in some good crosses, and there was no one there in the box. Mbappe, completely anonymous. I don't know if he's fully fit at the moment, but he's not been good for a few games now. Guler, anonymous. To be fair to Guler, he would get the ball, look up. There was no movement from him, but I didn't really know what position he was playing. He seemed to be all over the place and not in a good way, Arda Guler. Tchouameni, poor performance from Tchouameni. Camavinga, he's not playing in an actual position for him on that left wing, but again, he's very... on it, what can I say about that first half? The penalty, I didn't think it was a penalty. I thought it was a very soft penalty. I know he touched him, but Asensio did win the ball. But I can't really complain because Real Madrid have had a lot of penalties this season, so and not all of them have been clear-cut, I think. So on the basis of fair play, it seems a bit hypocritical of me to complain about penalties, and there was contact, but to me it was very soft. And is it just me, or does Courtois always dive to the same side? It seems like he always does that on penalties. But Osasuna had more touches in our box than we did in their box. So that said a lot about that game. We missed a real physical presence in that first half. I'm not sure if Gonzalo Garcia or Jude Bellingham was on the pitch, things would have been different. But I did feel that Mbappe was just, anonymous in this game. And that is a problem when you have a team like Real Madrid, because you have so many superstars that it's very difficult if they're not playing well to take them off. Because, what authority does Arbeloa have over someone like Kylian Mbappe? The first half was very uninspiring, but I thought, okay, half-time, terrible half, it can happen. All managers can make mistakes with their starting lineup. Let's see Arbeloa. Let's see the kind of manager he could be. Let's see if he's got the balls to make any changes. Nothing. Came out exactly the same in the second half, creating chances on that left wing. Camavinga putting in a couple of nice crosses, no one there. We could clearly see Carvajal needed to come off at half-time, but he still managed to stay on for another 20 more minutes. And yeah, I don't want to blame this all on Arbeloa, though, because the players, Ceballos came on in that second half, absolutely useless. Brahim Diaz offers nothing. I could go on and on about how poor some of these players are in this team. We've got a big summer ahead of us because I just don't see us winning the league at this point. I really don't. Fantastic goal from Vinicius Jr. It was so annoying for him to have to be telling Mbappe after he scored that goal, get in the box. Look what he did. As soon as Valverde made that run, Vinicius knew, I'm attacking that box. And look, what a great goal that was. Why did we have to, why does that need coaching from players? It's insane that we have to wait until the 70th, 80th minute before the players actually realise we need to get in the box. We need some urgency. Oh, it's frustrating, man. It really is. I thought Trent came on and made a bit of a difference with his passing, but when he doesn't have Valverde on that right-hand side, he got exposed so much as well. We really need to be careful when we're using Trent because we've got to make sure the player playing with Trent in that midfield is going to cover for him because otherwise we're going to get exposed terribly. And what was Asensio doing there at the end? Sliding in like that. I mean, honestly, you could tell the guy was going to dummy it. There was no one in the box for him to cross it to. Asensio as well is another player that there's so many players on this team that are good squad players, but I just worry about their level. I really do. I don't have much battery left on my laptop, so I'm going to wrap it up there. Such a wasted opportunity from Madrid. Honestly, this hurts. This one. This really does. Luckily, Arsenal drew midweek, so I'm really hoping they lose the North London derby this weekend. That will cheer me up, and maybe Barcelona can drop some points as well. But it does not look like we're going to win the league at the moment, the way this is going, is it? But thanks for watching, everyone.